Tigers are going back to Omaha, 19th time in program history. Smoke them if you got them. Smoke them if you got them. Cheers to the Tigers. Jay Johnson, year 2, trying to match what Kim Mulkey did in year 2, which is win a national championship. And boy, what an opportunity to do it with what is the most talented team in college baseball, the best pitcher in college baseball in Paul Skeens, the best player in college baseball in Dylan Cruz. If there's anybody in the country today happier than LSU fans, it is the merchants in Omaha, Nebraska, because purple and gold is about to descend upon America's heartland and take over Omaha, as they always do. So, Tigers win. 8-3 is your final. We'll run through the game. Thrilling season for the Tigers, which is going to end up in Omaha with a chance to win the national championship. First time, obviously, since 2017, when the Tigers were the national runner-up to Florida. And, that was a great baseball team. That was a veteran baseball team in 2017 that had a couple of great starters in Alex Lang, and Jared Poche, of course, was LSU's career wins leader. And look at this, Stanford. Oh, no, at the wall. Hang on 1 second, y'all. One second. One second. I need to turn that volume down. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. My apologies. Volume was a little loud. All right, y'all. So we can talk about the game. We can talk about the draw. We can talk about the team. We can talk about everything. Y'all fire away. What's up, man? What's up, everybody? Trivia Carter, Ariane Williams, Roxy J, Caleb Lemoyne. What's going on? Cortland, Caleb, Jordan McNeese, the Level Up Man, Jude McLaren, Bubba Tatum. I see all y'all. Alan Black, Peter Finnick, Manny Troncoso. See all y'all. What's going on? So let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game first and foremost. We can get into every other component of it. LSU in Omaha will face the winner of Tennessee Southern Miss, which will go to a game 3 tomorrow. We don't yet know the daytime or the start time for that, the day or time, as the NCAA will set those start times once the College World Series is set, right? So once the field is set is when we'll know. They'll either play Friday or Saturday. There's an afternoon and an evening slot, so 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday is how they'll do it. So we'll find out very likely tomorrow. No, we will find out tomorrow when LSU will be playing in Omaha. But LSU's going to Omaha again for the first time since 2017, which is just phenomenal. Y'all do me a quick favor, smash that like button if you're new, subscribe up to the channel. I know we're gonna have a lot of new folks. So let's run through this game if we could, and I'll get to as many of your questions, comments that y'all have. Jude McLaren mentioned Cruz's last at bat at the box. I was kind of following that. I mean, look at all the guys who had their last AB. From Gavin Dugas, his last at bat, he's hit by a pitch. Braden Jobear's last at bat, he just absolutely pummels a ball right off of the pitcher, Darren Williams, and reaches base. For Dylan Cruz, his last at bat at the box, of course, is a 2 RBI double, which blew open the game. Unfortunately, Trey Morgan's last at bat was a strikeout, but he was just magnificent in the Super Regional, so won't hold that against him. He was awesome offensively and defensively. So really, I think the story for this game, you have to look at the pitching. Of course, we can talk about the offense, which came up with, dare I say, clutch hits at certain times. And oh, by the way, the bullpen won it for LSU. Your bullpen today. Cooper and Guidry gave you 5 2/3 innings of scoreless baseball. And your ability to hit with runners on base and hit in the clutch is what won you this ball game. So all of the Chicken Little narratives about how this team can't hit in the clutch and how the bullpen stinks, your ability to hit in the clutch and your bullpen is what won you this game and punched your ticket to Omaha. So fantastic, man. Awesome game, awesome outing, great team, and they're not done. So we'll go through it a little bit here. Appreciate everybody for joining us. Over 600 of y'all watching live, which is magnificent. Again, do us a quick solid and smash that like button. I think Nick Fruge said you got the good buzz going, Matt. No buzz yet, man. Just had some dinner. I'm drinking. This is water. I'm literally. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm drinking. I just spilled it on myself. It's water, trust me. And light up a victory cigar here. So. All right, let's see. So let's run through the game a little bit here. Thankfully, no concern of weather or weather delays or anything of the sort. LSU actually got down in the first. They had runners on in the first inning after. Well, let me go back and say that I was a little surprised that Nick Mingione chose to start Austin Strickland. Strickland had been their number 3 guy here of late, and Mason Moore, who came out of the pen, gave him 4 1/3 of scoreless baseball, has been a reliever his whole career, but has been their best pitcher all year. Best ERA. He threw 5 innings in relief in the regional clincher. I thought in this game, considering you had to win it to save your season, I thought they'd go Mason Moore to start. They didn't. They went with Strickland. Strickland ends up giving up 5 runs. Moore comes in, slams the door for 4 1/3, and then LSU broke through again against Williams. And we all saw there in the ninth is LSU put up a 3 spot in the ninth. But Tigers had an opportunity in the first. You had a couple of runners on. You couldn't get anybody home. And then you give up the solo homer for Floyd. Floyd wasn't his best outing. He only gave you 3 1/3, and all 3 runs he gave up were solo homers. So he did give up 3 runs on 7 hits. He struck out 5. He walked just 1. But, inability to locate at times was kind of Ty Floyd's undoing tonight, and they made him pay for it. So a team that was dead last in the SEC in home runs, homered 3 times tonight. But what can you say about Riley Cooper? I shouldn't be surprised that Jay went to Riley there, because Jay says it all the time. He trusts Riley Cooper. We saw him do it in the regionals. He trusts Riley Cooper. That Riley is a guy who has pitched in Omaha. He's pitched in super regionals. The moment's not too big. He's got a rubber arm, and Jay trusts him. So in this point of the season, you're giving the ball to guys you trust. It's why I want to say this again. It's something that I know we've said here. I've said it on AFR. And while all the melt was happening about the bullpen and everything, the thing that I said consistently is, and this isn't my line, I learned this from Skip Bertman. This is what Skip and all the guys that played for Skip all those years. They would say, look, by the time you get to Omaha, by the time you get to the postseason, you've really pared your pitching staff down to 6 or 7 arms. And that's really it. And when you look at LSU, the bullpen had their struggles this year, but by and large, you got to understand when you're at this point in the season, it's Skeens, Floyd, Hurd, Cooper, Ackenhausen, Guidry, Coleman, Herring. I mean, you got 8 guys you feel like you can give the ball to and they can get you an out. But in this regional or the super regional, you went, you got 7 2/3 from Paul Skeens, and you're up 14. So all you got to do is just give the ball to anybody to get you the final 4 outs. So they gave it to Blake Money. And then, here you are today, and Floyd only gives you 3 1/3. Well, who do you trust that can be an out-getter, an inning-eater out-getter and throw up zeros? And he trusts Riley Cooper. And Cooper went up there and gave you 3 innings of shutout baseball. He gave up 2 hits. He struck out 2. He walked 1. faced 13 hitters and none of them scored. So you tip your cap, man. And then they went to Gavin Guidry, and Guidry gave you 2 2/3. And they had Thatcher Hurd up, and if at any point, especially when it was 5-3, if Kentucky had inched closer, they would have gone to Hurd to close it out. And the situation could have been different if LSU wasn't leading. Certainly what they would have done in that situation would have been different. But you were playing with a lead, so you had the benefit of and the luxury of going with the guys that could get you home. So, I'll say it again. I've said it a ton, and I'll say it again. This is an LSU team that, provided they stay in the winners bracket, they've got enough pitching to win the whole damn thing. And I know a lot of y'all, and by the way, I need your opinion. There's 725 of you watching live right now, which shout out, I love you all. I'm debating and I did go back earlier today, and I looked at Twitter, and I searched for all the people who shat on this bullpen, who shat on this team, who shat on this coaching staff, all the tweets I got. I'm thinking, should I go out them? Should I go embarrass them? A little freezing cold takes on them. Or do I just say, hey, Tigers going to Omaha, screw it, let bygones be bygones? Part of me wants to make an example of the people who need to be made an example of. The people who said this team wasn't gonna make a regional, wasn't gonna win a regional, wasn't gonna be a national seed, all that sort of stuff. So, look, Jesse Brown, Mike the Tiger, Leonard Hood, y'all, Paul Guidry, y'all all want me to get mad. There's who was the one guy? I'm 4-bit said take the high road, and one other said, where is it? DT said take the high road. There's 2 of y'all that were take the high. Everyone else is crush him. But just to be clear, the point is, I want to make this point again. And listen, there's euphoria right now. Tigers are going back to Omaha, and they're going to have a great chance to win it. I'm fired up for it. But the point is, again, baseball is not football. You cannot take a football mentality. You cannot melt when you lose a fucking midweek game, excuse me. You can't melt whenever you lose a weekend series, because everybody loses a weekend series. You gotta put yourself in position for the postseason to where the road to Omaha goes through Baton Rouge. It did. LSU won the regional. They won the Supers. Now you're going to Omaha, and you got to go play well for 10 days in the Midwest. Go play well there. Paul Skeens gets you a win in game 1 and gets you off to a good start. Magnificent. Then go win that second game, and I think LSU's in the championship series, because it's going to be hell for somebody to come out of the loser's bracket to beat this team when you're down on arms to try to stop that offense. But the flip side is also true. Well, I think LSU's got plenty of pitching to make their way through Omaha in a winner's bracket scenario. I don't think they have enough pitching to come out of the loser's bracket. So it's just another instance of pointing out what we've said all year, which is, man, you got to be patient in baseball. It's why they play 60 games, 56 games. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And you just got to put yourself in position to make your run. And LSU's done that. So, all right. Zionical said, do we pitch Skeens game 1? 100%. That's not even a question. So, yes, whether it's Friday or Saturday, you're throwing Paul Skeens game 1 in Omaha. Not even a question. And that will be, we know it will be either against Tennessee or Southern Miss. They will play a deciding game 3 on Monday. And that game will be either Friday or Saturday. We'll find out once the field is set. But we know LSU's going to Omaha. Opening round opponent will be either Tennessee or Southern Miss. And the assumption here is you win that game, you're on the same side of the bracket as Wake Forest, so you'll probably get Wake Forest. You'll probably get Wake Forest in the winner's bracket game if chalk holds. So, Tiger Mania, what's up? Sonny's wife, what's going on? Considering the near-death experience with the weather yesterday, take the high road. Nick Frugier won a super, didn't even use Hurd. You didn't have to play a third game. It's why I'm going to say it again. I was surprised Mingione didn't start. I'm surprised he didn't start Travis Smith or Mason Moore today. I'm honestly surprised he didn't go to Mason Moore as soon as LSU got on the board. The fact that he let LSU build a lead before going to his best arm was surprising. And maybe that's a little inexperience, man, on Mingione's part, but it cost him. So Cody Brunet said, how massive has Guidry been? You know, it's another reason why I think you got to hat tip Wes Johnson. As much as the parts of the fan base have criticized Wes for some of the pitching struggles, you have to also acknowledge, do y'all hear the frogs, by the way? I love it. Shades of Coogan's backyard with the frogs back in 2021, 2012, 19, 21. I forgot what we were saying. Oh, Guidry. Guidry was awesome. And you got to credit Wes Johnson. And you have to credit Wes Johnson. Wes looked at Gavin Guidry and said, yeah, that was a guy that was trying to win an infield job in the fall, didn't start pitching until the spring when they had some injuries. Like, hey, you want to try to start throwing again? And now he's become a dude that you totally count on. You got to give Wes and Jay credit for that, for sure. Let's see. So Tigers, Tigers answered with the lone run in the second to tie it. And then top three, LSU came up with the 4 spot. Of course, it was Cade Beloso with the big 3-run blast. Another guy that you just love to see, man. Beloso was just 1 for 5 on the day. But man, what a career for Cade Beloso. What a winding arc this has been. Coming here in 2018 as the #1 player in Louisiana out of John Curtis, and then battled the injuries he's battled, to have gone through the COVID season, and to come back for a 5th year, which so rarely happens in college baseball, especially at a program like LSU, and to have the type of season he has. Cade Beloso hitting .316 on the season with 14 bombs. Just awesome to see, man. So LSU puts up the 4 spot. We saw Kentucky come back with a couple of solo homers in the 3rd and the 4th. It was 5-3, and then we held firm at 5-3 until LSU broke through in the 9th with the 3 spots. So to cinch it. So Tigers win. They're headed to Omaha and the College World Series. So y'all fire away with any questions you may have. Mike McNett said the Pappy's gone. Hey, bro, if there was a reason to drink it, tonight's the reason. Let's see. Todd Thomas said was shocked Kentucky pitched to Cruz. Well, Todd, I want to remind you this. In the regular season matchup, hang on one second, y'all. There's one thing driving me crazy. I got to do this real quick. Hang on one second. Mass comm, whenever you go through like mass comm broadcasts and they teach you videos, like you don't want to have things coming out of people's head in the shot and whatever. So I had that umbrella like coming out of the side. Look, I had a hat like umbrella coming out of my ear. So anyway, it was driving me crazy. The really tricky part, Todd, that Nick Mingione had to make the decision. Look, he had a base open, and you make the decision: do you walk Cruz, load the bases, and pitch to White, or do you try to get to Cruz? And I want to remind you, man, in the regular season matchup, he intentionally walked Dylan Cruz with the base open, and Tommy White hit a grand slam. Nick Mingione was literally in that exact situation in the regular season. He walked Dylan Cruz, and Cruz hit a grand slam, and then White hit a grand slam to load the bases, and White hit a grand slam. So with this lineup, in many instances, you are truly damned if you do, damned if you don't. Let's see. Boo Daddy, can we take a minute to fully appreciate Thompson handling business on defense? Nails when you need it the most. Boo Daddy, I'm going to say this again too, man. The criticism for Jordan Thompson defensively was a fan narrative. It was a horrible example of a fan echo chamber, a message board echo chamber where people convince themselves of something and believe it to be true, ignoring all data that points to the opposite, and only highlighting the things that confirm their assertion. Jordan Thompson this year was magnificent all season, playing the most, third base typically has the most errors. But, the spot that's going to have the most chances, he was fantastic this year. Thompson fielded 934 in 182 total chances. 182 total chances. Jordan Thompson had 12 errors. 12 errors in 182 total chances. He was magnificent. And I'll give credit where it's due. Ryan Terrio said when Thompson, and this is a guy who played shortstop in the major leagues, said when Jordan Thompson was a freshman, that dude is going to play in the major leagues. And you saw a major league play tonight, which should be SportsCenter's top 10, number 1, where Thompson going to his right behind Tommy White at third onto the grass, made a leaping, spinning throw, and quite honestly, it wasn't even close. The ball was there well before the runner. That part wasn't close. The only question was, did Morgan keep his foot on the bag, which he did. But Thompson's magnificent, and he struggled early in the season a year ago, but the second half of the year last year, Jordan Thompson was absolutely magnificent. And I think people ignored how good he was in the second half last year, only highlighting when he did make a mistake. But Jordan Thompson was awesome, man. He's had an awesome career, and of course his LSU career is going to be over after this season, and hopefully this is a deep run in Omaha, and the Tigers are playing for a championship and win it all. So, defensively, let's see. Thompson was 938 as a freshman, 894 last year. He had 18 errors, but by contrast, 15 errors as a freshman, 18 as a sophomore, 12 this year. So really, from his freshman to his sophomore year, you're only talking about a differential of 3 errors. And from his sophomore to junior year, a difference in 6 errors. So, yeah, I mean, he got markedly improved, but he was really good in the second half of the year last year as well. Jordan Thompson, salute, he was awesome. So I thought defensively both teams were awesome in the Super Regional. So let's see, Dustin Fontenot, what's going on? Glenn Crowdis, I love the lineup. It's working as the game moves on. Yeah, the big decision that Jay made, as we all know, was the decision to insert Josh Pearson into the lineup. So Pearson in the lineup moved Joe Bear to left, Pearson to right, or you flip them either way, however they want to line it up, and then moved Morgan from left to first. And it's been really good having Pearson in the lineup at the 9 hole. Now today he was 1 for 3, walked twice. So this is what's so important about a guy like Pearson. While he's only hitting 252, and that's not going to turn anybody's head, the point about Pearson is when you're in the 9 hole and you're getting on base and Dylan Cruz is leading off like he is now, the benefit of having Cruz before in the 3 hole, Cruz, Tommy White, 3-4, was you had guys that get on base, Gavin Dugas, Trey Morgan, 1-2. So you had guys getting on base before your run producers. Well, if you're going to move Dylan Cruz up to the leadoff spot, then the key is the guys at the bottom of the order have to get on base. And so you've seen Josh Pearson do that. Again, he had a hit. He was 1 for 3 today with 2 walks. So when he's getting on base for Dylan Cruz and Tommy White to follow, you have an opportunity for those guys to be run producers. All right. Appreciate y'all for being here, man. We're at 8:49 watching live. Smash that like button if you would. If you're new, subscribe up to the channel. Let's see. I'm doing my best to keep up with the comments as best as I can. Matt Godwin said, Matt, are you making the trip? I am not. So I don't mind letting y'all in a little bit on how our coverage is going to go. So Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott are going to go to Omaha, and they'll do their show live at lunch from Omaha. The tricky thing is you have 2 game windows at the College World Series. You have an afternoon window at 2 o'clock, and then you have a night game at 7 o'clock there at the College World Series. So the problem for me is if LSU, and we don't know, like you have to book this so far in advance, and you don't know when the team is going to play and for how long they'll be there. The problem for AFR is, what if LSU plays the first game? Well, if LSU's playing the early game, then they're playing while I'm on air. It doesn't do me a damn bit of good to be in Omaha doing a show while LSU is playing a baseball game. So it made the most sense. We talked to the morning guys about going. It wasn't gonna work for them, and then where we'd set them up in the morning. So it made the most sense was for Charles and Jimmy to go. So Charles and Jimmy will be there doing live at lunch from Omaha every day, and they'll be going to all the LSU practices and giving reports on all the shows throughout the day. And if they make it to the championship series, I know Hunt has plans to go with his dad. So Hunt might be doing his Friday show before the championship series if LSU makes it. If LSU makes the championship series. So Zionical said, what a team. Is this the most talent you've seen on an LSU team? Yeah, I think we can confidently say that. I would tell you the two teams that have produced the most big league talent, the two championship teams that LSU's had that's produced the most big league talent are its two most recent, the 2000 and the 09 team. Think about 2000 where you had Jorgensen, Haup, Fontenot, Terrio, Tallett, Human, Scobie, Hodges. That team had at least, that's off the top of my head, it's at least 8 big leaguers. And then if you look at 09 with Coleman, Renato, Austin Nola, Mikey Matuk, LeMahieu, of course, Ryan Schimpf. That's 6 off the top, and I know I'm missing some. Y'all pointed out if there's ones I'm missing, but those two were probably, those two teams are probably the most talented as far as big leaguers. The 91 team had Chad Oj and Paul Bird and Mike Soroka and Rick Green and Lyle Mouton and Andy Sheets and Armando Rios, Russ Johnson. I mean, so the 91 team actually is probably right there as well as far as most talented. But, this one could, when it's all said and done, overtake all of them. But the difference is they got to go win the national championship to be in that conversation. Let's see. Shane Carver said, would you rather us play Southern Miss or Tennessee? Well, Southern Miss, here's why. I think Skeen's going game 1. He'll beat whoever LSU plays. The problem potentially is with Tennessee, when you've got Dolander and Burns and Beam and you've got all those arms, that is a team that can come out of the loser's bracket. So that is a team that, you beat them in the first game, they can go win the loser's bracket game, and then they got to come back, and provided you're advancing, they got to come and, theoretically beat you twice. That's a team that I think does have the depth, the pitching depth to do it. I don't think Southern Miss has the pitching depth to do it. So it's not so much game 1, it's thinking throughout the field, what team would have the opportunity to come out of a loser's bracket and challenge LSU, provided you win game 1 with Skeens and you're able to win game 2 behind Ty Floyd and whoever else you might take out of the bullpen. So I want to remind you, man, the thing about Omaha is, like the 4-team regional, you got to win those first 2 games. Because if you lose either of those, then you got to go win an elimination game and then come back and beat the winner's bracket team twice just to advance to the championship round. So, in order to do that, you would need something extraordinary. In 2017, they got that from Caleb Gilbert. Remember how 2017 played out? First game, they played Florida State. They started Lang. They brought Poche out of the bullpen, and then Hess closed it. So that speaks to just how important it is to win those first 2 games. They come back, and of course, they start Eric Walker, and that's when Walker blew out and they lost. Well, they come back for the 3rd game. Poche throws. They win to avoid elimination. They beat Florida State. Now they got to come back and beat Oregon State twice. Well, you get Alex Lang, who gets you a win. He's your horse. That was no surprise. Well, then what happened? Caleb Gilbert, out of nowhere, comes up and gives you 7 1/3 and shoves against Oregon State, and you win and you advance to the championship round. If LSU were going to come out of the loser's bracket this year, you would have to have somebody like Blake Money, Sam Dutton, Javen Coleman, someone like that give you an outing like Caleb Gilbert gave you back in 2017. Is it possible? Sure. Sure, it's possible. Is it super likely? Probably not. So I'm going to say it again. This LSU team has plenty of pitching, provided they stay in the winner's bracket. I don't think they have enough pitching to come out of the loser's bracket. So it's imperative. Whatever you got to do, you've got to be all chips to the center to win those first 2 games. So I'm going to say it. You're going to hear me say this all week. If LSU starts Paul Skeens, in game 1, and you're in a 3-2 ball game, you got to go to Thatcher Hurd. You got to go, or if it's Gavin Gidger, whoever you feel like is your best opportunity to get you a win, you got to go. You got to do it. So you can't be thinking about the next game or the next 2 games. You got to win the one in front of you. It really is, and I know it's cliche to say it, but in Omaha, it is. You have to be all in to win the game you're playing that day. So, I think Maneri kind of showed you that in in 2017. Even in the championship series that year, remember LSU plays Florida, and Florida had the great rotation of Faedo, Singer, and Jackson Coar. And Faedo through the first game and Singer through the second game, and Florida had a lead, and O'Sullivan went to Coar. And if Jake Slaughter doesn't have that runner's interference, if Kramer isn't out at the plate and LSU wins game 2, then you go to game 3 with Alex Lang against TBD. You win the national championship. But O'Sullivan made the risky play, went all in, threw Coar in game 2 in relief, and it worked. It worked. So, right. Man, I'm so glad y'all are hanging out. Thank y'all for being here. I know it's 9:26 on a Sunday night. But LSU's Omaha bound. You follow this program, you love this program, and you realize, you think you're going to Omaha every year. When you've had the success historically that LSU has, you feel like you're going to be there every year. But this is a great reminder. 2017, it's been 6 years. It's been 6 years since LSU's been. So you gotta enjoy these when they come, man. You gotta revel in them. You gotta light up a Churchill by Davidoff. The late hour, you gotta light up a $30 cigar and enjoy it when LSU punches their ticket, because you never know when you're going to see it again, or when you'll have a Paul Skeens roll through here again. It took 30 years between Ben McDonald and Paul Skeens. How many of us weren't old enough to remember watching Ben McDonald pitch 87, 88, 89, and now you got to see Paul Skeens do what he did this year, which was awesome. So, Michael Tolliver said, feel like this postseason LSU hasn't used too much of the bullpen at all. Michael, that's because when you're just playing to win a mini tournament instead of playing a full weekend, you manage it differently. This is the point that I tried to make all year, but some of it, for some people, it just didn't saturate. Like, it didn't resonate. When you're, like, look at this weekend, for example. You were not guaranteed a third game. If you had a chance to win it in 2, you win it in 2 and it's done. So you treat that differently than when you're going to play a third game. Like we saw Auburn and Mississippi State this year pitch backwards against LSU, because in their mind they're going, okay, we just got to get to the postseason. So if we can get one game in Baton Rouge, great. What's the best way to do it? We're probably not going to beat Skeens, so let's save our best guy for game 2. If we manage to split the first 2, it's baseball. Anything can happen in day 3. And we saw that happen. Those 2 teams won a series against LSU. But they were guaranteed a third game. For LSU and for this weekend and for postseason play, like Super Regional, you're not guaranteed a third game. Go win the first 2. It's over. So yeah, you didn't have to use too much of the bullpen because you're not thinking in terms of, I have all these arms at my disposal to get through 3 games this weekend and a midweek game where I can get guys work and find out who I trust in roles. Like, all that's over. To say it again, it was Skip's old line, man. By the time you get to this point, you have pared down the guys you're using on your pitching staff to 6 or 7 guys, and unless you're up 10 or down 10, you're not going to use everybody else. And look, Yesterday, LSU's up 14-0, so we saw Blake Money. That's the only way you're going to see Blake Money, is if LSU's up 10 or down 10. So, Thomas Lamont, 100% of Kentucky's runs came off of home runs this weekend. That's so weird because they were dead last in the league dead last in home runs in the conference. Now look, they got shut out by Skeens and Money yesterday, but all three of their runs today were solo shots off of Floyd. Sonny's wife, am I the only one holding the breath when they did the dog pile? No, I mean I saw it. It was an abbreviated, a muted dog pile. We'll put it that way. Erica. Make sure it says my TV is going to go to sleep in 5 minutes, but like I'm watching it. But my remote is on my phone, which I'm streaming this on my phone, so I don't want to do that. Let me see. Let's go to here. All right. Again, smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching. Say it all the time. I appreciate y'all so much. Shout out Hudco Roofing. Great to be partnered with Hudco. You can always email me directly, matt@hudcoroofing.com. I'm happy to help you with all the inclement weather that rolled through here. But in all seriousness, last weekend, we did legit have inclement weather last weekend. So if you had any of that, hit us up. I got Hudco pinned in the chat. Just click the link, fill out the form on the homepage. We'd love to help you out. Repairs, smallest repair, biggest replacement, every part of the state of Louisiana. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Mike McNett, William Cuppett. Rarely does Cruz get that fired up. Yeah, man. Look, his last AB, he doubled. You know, I think we're going to have this conversation, y'all. Is Dylan Cruz the greatest player ever to come through LSU? I think he is the most talented player this program has ever seen. He is the most talented five-tool guy this program has ever seen. You know, I know I've pointed this out, but for example, you know, Bregman, in his entire LSU career, Bregman's home run numbers in his career, this always surprises people when we bring this up, and Bregman's awesome, don't misunderstand me. I'm not in any way like being dismissive of anything Alex Bregman did. He was just sensational, but he was the number 2 pick in the draft. But Bregman in his career, as a freshman, he had 6 homers. As a sophomore, he had 3 homers. And then as a junior in 2015, he had 9 homers. So in his career, Alex Bregman had 18 homers. 3 years, 18 homers in his entire career. You know, Dylan Cruz had more homers in his so Bregman in his career had 18 homers. Dylan as a freshman had 18 homers. As a sophomore had 22, and as a junior this year has 17. He'll exceed that number. So the point is, Dylan as a freshman had as many home runs as Bregman had his entire career. The point is, Dylan came in with the power stroke. Bregman's is obviously developed. And you hear Terrio say it all the time, power is the last tool to develop, but for Cruz, he came here with that power stroke already. Joel Lensminger, Christian Booty, what's up? Merrick Mathern, Bruce Sigma, Brandon Petrie, what's going on? Let me see. So I just went right to the bottom. I'll go back up. Reagan Lee, are we in the game 2 slot? Do we know for sure? We do not know yet. We do not know if LSU's playing Friday or Saturday. We do not know if they're playing game 1 or 2. We do not know yet. We'll know the Omaha TV slots whenever the Super Regionals are finished. Alan Donald, what's going on? LSU Tiger fans said if we're talking homers, Larson is the greatest ever. I'm not talking homers. I'm talking about being a 5-tool player. So the 5 tools, of course, are hit for average, hit for power, arm, speed, glove. Bregman had 4 of those when he showed up on campus, and the power developed later. Cruz had all 5 when he showed up here. That's what we're talking about. We're not just talking about who had the best power numbers. LSU said the ball was different. The ball wasn't different. The bats were different. Oh, you're talking about with Bregman. They had started to modify the ball again. They had lowered the seams on the baseball. But LSU, and look, I had this conversation with Alex. When he was at LSU, they wanted him hitting the ball on the ground and on the line. And when he got into the Astros organization, they started telling him, we want you to hit the ball on a line and in the air. So the approach was different as well. Nick Frugier, Guidry is a middle infielder next year with what we are losing. That's true. Guidry is going to be your shortstop, most likely next year. Glenn Gardner, the frustration with the third hit by pitch was timeless. Talking about Gavin. I don't know if he was frustrated or just fired up. I mean, his job is to get on base, and he did. And he turned the lineup over, and he and Pearson, and then obviously you saw Cruz come up and deliver. Brett Guidry, Alex, is similar size to Omaha. Something to keep in mind, y'all. When LSU was there prior, with TD Ameritrade, which is now Charles Schwab Field, played much bigger. The Big Ten had their baseball tournament there, and I'm going to see if I can find stats for the tournament as a whole. I don't know if I can. But yeah, these are season stats anyway. Suffice to say that in the Big Ten tournament, the ball flew out of Charles Schwab. It plays very different now. They've juiced the bats. They've lowered the seam on the ball. It is a big park, and the wind doesn't blow out the way it did at Rosenblatt, where Rosenblatt was like elevated on a hill, and if you got a ball up in the jet stream, it was out. The new stadium is in downtown Omaha, so it plays differently, but the ball is flying out of there. It's going to play very differently now than the last time LSU was there. Justin Marquez, what's going on? Melanie Willis, Cruz made me cry. Shows so much love to LSU. Frogs are happy. Avo, what's going on, man? Brad Lambert, shut that frog up. The frogs are good luck, man. For you OGs who were companion show watchers back in the day, the frogs would always kind of get going whenever LSU offensively would get going, and so we welcome the frog. The frog is so I would really encourage you. Look, you're seeing people. Mike McNett posting the frogs. Like, I encourage you to embrace the frog, share the frog emoji, appreciate the frog, because the frog is the baseball icon for offense in these parts. So. Sunday night ASCII rock. Let's see. Fred, who had LSU giving up 3 runs in a super regional. If this is the pitching we get in Omaha, we're going to be a tough out. Cajun Country ASCII, right? I think E-Rock is getting Drew ready for bed. Yeah, she's getting Drew ready for bed. James Charles, what's going on? Michael Tolliver, you have to win 3 to stay out of the loser's bracket to get the championship series. No, but I'm talking about the first 2. Remember, because remember, the way that it goes, if you win your first 2, then someone has to come back and beat you twice, okay? So if you lose one of your first 2, you're going to have to win an elimination game and then coming back and beat the winner's bracket team twice. So the key is you got to win your first 2. You got to win your first 2, take a day off, and then have someone come back and try to beat you twice. So if LSU wins their first 2, I think they will play in the championship series. If LSU loses either of their first 2, I do not think they will get to the championship series. I'll make that prediction here. Tommy Sapinza, how many games do you have to win to stay? Well, just went through that, sorry. William Cuppett, Matt has a body in his pool. I do not have a body in the pool. Oh, maybe that was whenever I ran back to go put the umbrella down. Antron, where's the guitar? I was playing my guitar earlier today, man. Guitar's in the office. What are y'all looking at in the pool? What are y'all looking at in the pool? Oh, that's the over there, right there. That's the Polaris, like the vacuum that vacuums the bottom of the pool. If that's what y'all looking at. If you're looking at that or that, those are benches in the water. Matthew Godwin, who wins the Golden Spikes? It's Somebody asked me that this morning on Morning Scone, and y'all, my true, legit, real concern is that because Jack Caglione from Florida is a two-way guy, because he led the SEC with 31 homers and was part of their rotation, had a 3 ERA, that he's going to win it. That's my fear. Maybe that's irrational. The thing I think that the LSU guys have going for them is name recognition. Paul Skeens is, Cruz Skeens are going 1-2. Everybody knows their names. Jack Cags is a sophomore. He's got to come back next year to Florida. So, maybe that's the benefit for the LSU guys. But I worry, does Cruz and Skeens split vote, and ultimately that pushes Jack Caglione to the above them both. I hope not. So, William said Paul Skeens had 97 strikeouts last year. Think about that. Hey man. It's very true. Are the frogs bothering y'all? Some of y'all are posting about the frogs. Gary said get rid of the frogs. I don't know what to do, bro. I can't make the frog. Anybody know what to do to make frogs stop croaking? Let's see. William talked about Skeens with the strikeouts. Yeah, man. Another reason why you have to give Wes Johnson credit for Skeens' development this year, in part. So, 912. Can we push this to 1,000? I would love it if we could push this to 1,000, man. If you saw this link on Twitter, if you'd retweet it, share it, just tell a friend we're here hanging out. I'd love that, man. We're celebrating LSU making it back to Omaha for the first time since 2017. First time, the 19th time in program history, first time under Jay Johnson. And Tigers are going with what I think is top to bottom the most talented roster. Maybe not the deepest pitching staff. That's probably Wake Forest, but a team that spent the bulk of this season ranked number 1 in the country, and certainly is plenty good enough to go win the whole dang thing. I know you hate trash and umps. The guy behind the plate made Johnson mad. I thought he was fine. He had a couple of rough moments, but I thought he was fine tonight. What's in the cup? Your face is red. My face is red because it's humid as hell out here. If anybody's hanging out outside right now, you know it. It's a humid night. This is legitimately water. I'm not lying. This is legitimately water in the cup. Let's see. Brant Roban, what's going on? Tom Brouillard. Devin Steeb, appreciate y'all for being here. Derek Meyer said, could Skeens throw 3 times in Omaha? Good question, and the answer is yes. It would take a really... so first of all, LSU would have to play Friday. If LSU played Friday... no, let me take that back. No, he can't. Because the champion... Remember... When LSU was there in 17, the championship series then was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now the championship series is Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So if LSU plays Friday and goes to the championship series to the last game, it'll be Friday to Monday. Skeens isn't going to throw 3 times Friday to Monday. He'll throw in the opener Friday, and then or Saturday, and then. Conceivably, if he throws Friday and you end up playing again on Thursday, he could throw short rest. But if he throws Friday, Thursday, you wouldn't bring him back again Monday. That would be 3 days rest. We have seen big league pitchers come back on 3 days rest. And maybe you could say there's an opportunity for a bullpen appearance to close a game and give you a 1 inning, maybe. But I would say highly unlikely. If you're thinking 3 full starts, no. When under the format where the championship series went to Wednesday, then yes, because Alex Lang was set to do that. He started the opener. He started in the week later in the week, and then he started the opener later in the week, and then against Oregon State was set to go on short rest in the championship finale against Florida had it gotten to that, but. Skeens will only make 2 starts in Omaha. 2 full outings in Omaha. Brian Arsenault, let this sink in. Kim won a natty in her second season. Johnson and Kelly, it's your turn. They mentioned that on the game. For sure, I mean, the person that would be under the most pressure in that scenario, that would be Matt McMahon, because I don't think Matt McMahon's team this year is going to be making any kind of deep run to anything. But it'd be great if maybe he could just make the tournament in year 2 if he could get to that. So, Sean Ducote, why isn't live at lunch on YouTube? Because we don't have an on-site producer for them. They would have to have a dedicated on-site producer, and Charles and Jimmy were not willing to ask their remote sponsors to pay a remote tech fee to have a remote tech on remote every day. They are, however, broadcasting live on Facebook, and we're working on getting better audio quality and all that sort of stuff there. Okay. All right. Here we go. That's T-Bob laid out in the pool. It's not T-Bob laid out in the pool. Slap at a base. Y'all are in a mood. I love it. Melanie Willis, what's going on? Matthew Rogelio. Alan Donald, over under, how long does it take the LSU fans to break the Jello shot record? That much I would say is a no-doubter. LSU fans will 100% break the Jello shot record. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. Dustin Fontenot, all right, little E.H. Taylor to celebrate, that a boy. Kyle Milliken, Matt, do you think Skip will go to Omaha? I think he'll be there. Maybe not for the whole time, but look, I think LSU will have a contingent there that takes the LSU plane, flies up. Scott Woodward will be there. Some of the coaches generally go, but it's one of those things where they could literally fly up the day of the game, go to the game, and fly back. So I do think that'll happen, yes. Andy Roberts, Scott Woodward equals legend. He was the catalyst for all the success coming now and to come for LSU sports. The day Scott Woodward was hired, I opened my show and said that was the most influential hire that LSU has made since they hired Nick Saban in December of 1999. And you're seeing why. Because Scott Woodward is a guy who knows what trees to shake to get done what he needs to get done, who loves LSU, who isn't going anywhere, and yes, incredible. Let's see. Nick Frugier, Don Juan next weekend. Would love to meet y'all. Nick, I'm going to tell you, we did talk to the Don Juan folks yesterday. Depending on when LSU plays, I think that's a very real possibility. So, if they play Friday, then we're on air. That's not going to happen. If they play Saturday, either Saturday game, I think that it will happen, and we will do a whiskey and wine from Don Juan on Saturday. Did we hit 1,000 watching? I'm seeing 877. Y'all, 877 watching, 428 likes. Let's get that number up if you would. And again, man, just the one thing that I'd ask is, man, if you live in Louisiana, any part of Louisiana, you need a roof repair, roof replacement, or you're not sure if you do, let HUDCO come do an inspection. HUDCO is pinned in the chat. It's the comment. The link is pinned in the chat. Click the link, fill out the form. Someone will be in touch with you. We'd love to help you out. HUDCO Roofing. Leonard Hood, your Woodward opener is one of my all-time favorites. You can still find it on YouTube. It's there. Go type in Matt Moscona, Scott Woodward. You'll see it. Glenn, I'm so turned up. I need your whiskey cabinet. It ain't a whiskey cabinet, brother. It's a whiskey office. Jamie Hodges, Michael Tolliver, College World Series isn't the same without LSU. They're glad. No doubt they're glad. Gulf South, only problem I had with tonight's win was T-Bob got to keep his beard. Oh, man. So for those that missed it, Tuesday last week, Hayden Travinski was on OTB with Hester and T-Bob. And at the end of the interview, Hester throws out this challenge to T-Bob. He's like, hey, if Travinski hits a 3-run homer, will you shave your beard and just go mustache soul patch like Travinski has? And T-Bob reluctantly agreed. And there were 3 opportunities. Travinsky came up 3 times with 2-1. Once last night, he was hit by a pitch. Twice tonight, and he hit 2, in both instances, he hit 2 warning track flies. It was close, man. I mean, it was close. It was 10, 15 feet close. I mean, it was close. Maybe not even 10 feet. All right, Palumbo celebrating with a Willet purple top pour. Very good. Chris Fwecht, good morning. Good morning. It ain't morning. It's fucking night. Excuse me. Well, it ain't morning scone, so I can curse. Noah Lejeune. Saul Munoz. Everyone worried about the frogs. Those frogs are working hard. Haven't seen Matt once swipe to get the mosquitoes away. Pay them frogs. No, Saul, you know what that is? I'm serious. Like, y'all laugh sometimes about the but I'll tell y'all, honestly, the products and services and businesses and people that I endorse, I use all of them. So when I tell y'all about like the mosquito barrier thing I get at Clegg's, I'm dead serious. It's hanging on that tree. I will go get it. If you want me to go get it, I will get it and show you what it is. I will go get it off the tree and show you. But it's $25 and it's friggin' miraculous. We have never had this house sprayed for mosquitoes. We don't do mosquito abatement. That's all I do. I buy that little thing for $25 every 3 months and I hang it on my tree. Like seriously, that's it. We don't have. I got a pool, and I don't know if y'all can see, but we got pool, and then that's water. I don't know if you can see, that's water behind the house too. That's our neighbor right there, but neighbor's house. But between us and the neighbor back there is water. Irfan Sayad, pumped to watch Tiger baseball in June. Irfan, me too, for 2 primary reasons. Number 1, I love LSU. Went to LSU, went to LSU baseball diehard, have been my entire life. Been going to the box forever, and I love the Tigers. But number 2, okay, you want me to go get it? Number 2 is as a radio show host, selfishly, radio talk show host, if LSU baseball gets me to the end of June, that's a fucking godsend. Because we're hitting Nashville for SEC Media Days Monday, July 17th. So like from the time the baseball season ends until July 17th is really the only time where you don't have something local. Because July 17th, we got media days. The next week, the Saints report for training camp. And then the week after that, LSU football reports for fall camp. So yes, I love LSU baseball making it to mid-June. Trust me, I'm gonna go get this mosquito thing. I'm gonna show y'all. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. This is the thing. You take the top off, you fill it with water, you shake it up, you hang it on your property line. I'm telling you, that's it. That's it. That's the thing. Look. Y'all can watch me put it on the tree again. I want them. I don't know if y'all can see me do it, but there we go. All right. Dave and Dirk got 2 of them. They work. I'm telling you, go to Clegg's. They're $24.99. I'm telling you, what do you have to lose? $25? Yeah, G McGee Z said Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. They changed the name. It's now called the Aeon Mosquito Barrier, but it's the same damn thing. Hal Jubin asked if we're going to Omaha. I am not, Hal. We explained that a little bit ago, but no. And the problem is we don't know when LSU would be playing. And there's a chance they could be playing during AFR. So there's no point in me being in Omaha doing a show while LSU is playing. So, no, not going. So Jimmy and Charles are going to go. ATX said is bracket 2 ripe for the taking by Florida. Yes, it is. I think TCU is fascinating to me, but considering they went and beat Arkansas the way they did, because I thought Arkansas was a dark horse to win the national championship. So TCU going to Fayetteville and winning has me like, watch out for TCU. But Florida, yes. Glenn said, does Wake make you as nervous as they do me? No, listen, when you get to this point, everybody's good. Like, you don't have an easy draw. There's no such thing in Omaha. Everybody's good. If you're in the College World Series, everybody's good. So Wake is a good team. But I also believe Wake has not been challenged the way that you are in the SEC. So you go to Charles Schwab Field and there's 25, 30,000 people there, and you got to play a team like LSU and they got to play from behind. How do you do? I don't know. I haven't seen Wake do that. I've seen LSU do it. I've seen them do it week in and week out in this league. Now, Dave Vendor said team that's a dark horse is Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts got a lot of people's attention this weekend, that's for sure. Justin Marquez, Joshua Forbes, Jeff G. Gulf South, glad Arkansas is out. We don't have to face our two lefties. I agree with that. I agree. Like, Arkansas for me, I had a buddy ask me who lives in Atlanta, and he was going up to like some casinos in North Carolina and was like, hey, I'm going to make some College World Series bets, aside, like, give me a long shot just at the odds to say, okay, like, who's got odds that you would take a shot at? And I was like, Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Arkansas and Vanderbilt. I think if you're looking for a good price, those would be the teams. So Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. I mean, LSU, but like LSU and Wake have the two best odds to win. So there's not a ton of value there. If you're looking for a longer shot, I thought those were the ones. Ariane Williams said, is OTB going to Omaha? They are not. Just Charles and Jimmy are going. Okay, Mark Aber. Jordan Thompson was number 2 on SportsCenter Top 10. I thought he'd be number 1. I'm curious to see what number 1 was for someone to beat that out. Joe D, what's up? Seth Gilbo, Bradley and Graphia, what's up, y'all? Thanks for being here with us. Let's see, Kareem, are you not getting bit by mosquitoes? No, talked about that. Do you have a scone discount code? No, like, I get them at Clegg's. Clegg's Nursery is a sponsor, and they have them here in Baton Rouge. So, see if Clegg's sells a frog repellent. Avo said Matt just made Clegg's sell out of the Spartan thing tomorrow. Again, Aeon mosquito barrier, but it is at Clegg's. It's just literally just go to Clegg's and say, what's the mosquito thing that Moscona talks about? They will know. All right, any more, y'all? Any more? Jeb Rome, probably already answered. Probably depending on the day of the first game. Who starts? It's Skeens, 100%. So you're either, look, Skeens pitched Saturday, so he'll either go Friday or Saturday, depending on where LSU plays, and Skeens will throw the first game. Like, that's not even a question. Skeens will throw the first game in Omaha. And I want to remind y'all, again, this was the big hullabaloo last weekend with the whole people talking about Skeens, short rest, all that stuff that they had held him for game 2 in the rain and all that crap. Skeens pitched twice this year on short rest, meaning he threw on a Friday and came back the following week and threw on a Thursday. Which, by the way, 5 days rest and pitching on the 6th day is more than enough. But he did it twice. He did it the Tennessee series and did the Georgia series. Both times he went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, and struck out a dozen, I believe, in both. Maybe struck out 12 in one and 13 in the other. So his stat lines were almost identical against Tennessee. And, well, let me not guess. I'll pull it up for you. Hang on. I'm at the website. I'm at the website. I'll pull it up right here. I'll tell you exactly what he did. So here was Skeens' outings against Tennessee. He went There we go. Sorry. Tennessee on short rest, 7 innings pitched, 1 run on 5 hits, 12 strikeouts, 1 walk. Georgia, 7 innings pitched, 2 runs on 4 hits, 12 strikeouts, 1 walk. Paul Skeens, if they play on Friday, will pitch on Friday. 1 bajillion percent. A bajillion percent, not even a question. Paul Skeens will throw the first game in Omaha for LSU, period. Yeah, you're right. I think I did just sell a shitload of the mosquito things from Clegg's. Nick Frugier, I'm 32 years old, diehard LSU fan in any sport possible. Matt is easily the best content creator for LSU sports I've ever listened to. You have a lifelong fan. Thank you, Nick. That's awesome, man. I appreciate it. And I didn't just read that because it was something nice. I'm literally just going in order and reading all these things. So, but thank you. Very kind of you. I appreciate everybody for watching. Smash the like button. We're at 491 likes. We can get to 500. We're 9 away. Let's see. D. So would you rather have to play Tennessee first or Stanford, Texas? Well, it doesn't matter because you're going to play either Tennessee or Southern Miss, whoever wins that game. So the hypothetical is irrelevant. I'm not trying to be an ass, but like that's just the way the bracket's set up. Like your first game is going to be the winner of tomorrow's game between Tennessee and Southern Miss. Charlie, Olivier, what's going on? Or Oliver. Pat said your pool looks like it's on 8X. What does 8X mean? I don't know what that means. Jordan McNeese, Matt needs the Travinsky stash. I would do it. Erica would hate it. Erica hates this. She hates the bald head beard look. I'm like, you preferred my shaved face in the toilet seat look? James Charles, pick up some Eagle Rare for Whiskey. I got plenty of Eagle Rare. All right, Ross Whitfield, little Old Weller Antique 107, not a bad choice. All right, let's jump down to the bottom, see what else we got. Yeah, I got Stanford. Stanford's beating Texas 5-2. They're top 6 right now. Stanford's batting with a runner on first and 2 outs. The sprinklers just came on in right field from the outfield pointing out. So, a couple on here. Stanford's got a little something going here, up 5-2 already. Looking to get some distance. Jay Sessions, Cruz's last at bat. They played his walkout song as the pitcher changed. The box was rocking. Justin Marquez, what's going on? DA Matt, I really thought Wes Johnson's situation would be a distraction. Glad I was wrong. Is it weird we have Georgia's coach in our dugout? No, DA, it's not. And listen, man, that's not uncommon. Like this happens. Look, in all sports, I'll remind you back in 2007, LSU won the football national championship. Bo Pelini had been hired to be Nebraska's head football coach, but stayed with LSU. So he kept recruiting for Nebraska while coaching LSU. Interestingly, by the way, y'all know I'm not the biggest recruiting person in the world, but last night at Don Juan, I got to meet Jimmy Lindsay, who's the new LSU defensive line coach. He actually came up and introduced himself to me. He was there with several of the parents of the recruits on their official visits, and got to meet several of them. They were great men, great people. One of them, some of y'all may know, but he's like, I met the dad of a kid from South Carolina, who's like the #1 defensive lineman in 2025. Hang on. I'll probably be able to look up and tell you his name. Is that it? Elijah Griffin? I thought he was from South Carolina. Maybe he's from Georgia. Anyway, Lindsay was the first one to offer him. Maybe that's him, Elijah Griffin. He's the #2 player in the 247 5-star. Pretty sure that was him. Hang on. And then the other one was, the dad's name was Michael January. His son is a defensive lineman out of Texas. And big kid, like 320 pounds. And he was here as well. So I got to meet those two gentlemen last night, which was really cool. Let me see. Sorry, y'all. I wish I had this kid's name, but anyway, he's like the number one defensive lineman for 2025. Jimmy Lindsey was his first offer when he was at South Carolina, and he was here on an official visit this weekend. Maybe this is him. Yeah, Georgia, South Carolina are his two like warm interest offers. That makes sense. Elijah Griffin. So he was here this weekend on an official. All right. So Dave said the guy you don't want to be right now is Kentucky's head coach justifying pitching to the best player in college baseball. I don't know, man. I mean, if y'all are just joining us, talking about what happened in the ninth with the decision to pitch to Cruz with first base open. Look, man, we literally saw the exact same situation in the regular season series where they had a base open. They intentionally walked Cruz to get to Tommy White, and White hit a grand slam. It was the game where LSU hit grand slams in back-to-back innings in the first and the second. So, I mean, pick your poison, man. You know, what you pitch, you walk Dylan Cruz, you load the bases for Tommy White. I mean, what are you going to do? You know, he made a pitching change mid-count, went to a guy I thought was a better matchup for Cruz, pitched to him, and it didn't work. Anyway. All right, couple more. All right, Justin Marquez, good night, man. Alex January, Colin Simmons. Okay. See, he said teammates at Duncanville. I don't think that was it. Maybe so. You might be right. You know I'm not a recruiting guy, but whatever. They said he was the kid January is a 2024 recruit. This was the number one lineman for 2025 is who I'm talking about. But either way, whatever. You would know better. I'm not a recruiting guy. Got to meet both their dads last night. Great men. Got to meet Jimmy Lindsey last night, LSU's defensive line coach. He said he literally just got to Baton Rouge this week because he spent the whole month of May on the road recruiting, and so but likes it so far. Was a great man. Really, I think Brian Kelly's done an awesome job with his staff. Just not only good coaches, but great men. Like every one of his staff members I've met have just been top-notch, awesome people. Okay, smash the like button. Anything else? Adam Landis, hello from Albuquerque. Okay. James Charles, got some George T. Stagg. Okay. Matt, would it piss you off if USM won the College World Series? No, if LSU doesn't win, I just don't want it to be an SEC school, that's all. It wouldn't piss me off if they won. I'd be disappointed LSU didn't win. Brian Blanchard, Earl Morgan, the Omaha vendors are happy. Yeah, they are. Post-game interview, Cruz said he hoped he made an impact on the program. There's no doubt. Listen, and y'all, this isn't the last game Dylan's going to play at LSU. It's obviously his last game at the box, but he'll play hopefully 5 games in Omaha and then win a national championship. But you got to give a hat tip to Paul Maneri and Nolan Kane. Because those are the guys that got Dylan Cruz here. So, of course, Jay had him the last 2 years, and he developed great, but he was awesome as a freshman. And Dylan Cruz, Jordan Thompson, Trey Morgan, Cade Beloso, Gavin Dugas, a lot of these guys that were the core of this team were guys that were recruited here by Paul Maneri, Nolan Kane, and they deserve a hat tip. Look, Jay's awesome. Jay got Skeens here. Jay got Tommy White here, signed the number 1 class in the country. I was legit thinking about this earlier today, and I'll probably do a segment on it tomorrow in AFR once I give it some more thought. But if you ask me today, you could have Jay Johnson or any other coach in college baseball today at LSU, I don't think there's another coach that I would take over Jay. Because while there are certainly coaches today that are more accomplished, like Tim Corbin's won national championships, Kevin O'Sullivan has won a national championship, has been to Omaha. Like, there's a lot of coaches who have more skins on the wall today. The fact that Jay, here's the thing about Jay. Number one, and he's pointed this out too. Jay Johnson had a number one recruiting class when he was at San Diego, right? When he had Chris Bryant. So like, so number one, he can recruit, and he's got all the resources to recruit. So I have no reason to believe at all that LSU will ever lack in talent. Jay's also 46. He could legitimately spend the next 15 years here. Like, he could have a run like Skip had, where he's here for 15, 20 years. Like, he could be that guy. And the other thing with Jay too is, Jay's married, and a lot of people may not know this. His wife worked in college athletics. His wife worked for Bob Stoops at Oklahoma. So she gets it as far as being a coach's wife and recruiting and all that sort of stuff. So like, she gets it. And they don't have children. Now, it's not to say, he's 46, maybe they won't have kids. But when Jay in a press conference a couple of weeks ago said, like, this is my life, he wasn't being like flippant about that. Like, this is what he does. I had a conversation with him before this past season. He said legitimately, I wouldn't leave this job for the New York Yankees. Like, he doesn't want to be a big league coach. He wants to be in college baseball, and he feels like he has the best job in baseball. So he keeps winning. He's not going anywhere, and this is the thing he does, eats, breathes, sleeps. Like, he's kind of like what Nick was when LSU hired Nick in '99. Different sports, I get it. I'm not saying he's Nick Saban today, but I'm saying at the time you hired him, you're getting a dude in his mid-40s who this is like the thing he does, and he does it awesome. And as long as you keep having awesome players and the best talent year in and year out, you're always going to be in this conversation every year. So I don't think I would legitimately, like, that. I don't think that's a homer comment or anything. Like, I gave this some thought, and I'll probably do a little more research on it tomorrow to see, like, is there anybody else I might think, but I don't think I would take anybody over Jay Johnson right now, like, legitimately in college baseball. Great point. Gulf South said, so glad we don't talk about the greatest position player ever to come to LSU not making it to Omaha. The conversation about some of the great players, we talked about this earlier today on Morning Scone, was, some of the great players that never won a championship, so their careers sometimes are forgotten. The one I always bring up is Aaron Hill. Aaron Hill was an All-American. Aaron Hill was a first-round draft pick, was an all-star, played 13 big league seasons. He was awesome. And, but we forget Aaron Hill's career here because he didn't win in Omaha. And Bregman, obviously, I think is at the top of the list before Cruz got here. Along with, I would say Todd Walker, but Bregman's glove was better than Todd's. Todd played second base. Todd's ability to hit for power, hit for average. I think the best pure hitter LSU's ever had come through the program. But legitimately, the thing we remember more guys like Jason Williams and Blair Barbier and Rich Cordani, the guys who didn't go on and have this great big league career, but were great college players and won championships here. So as far as that legacy, I would love to see Cruz punctuated with a national championship, because if he does, I think we will revere him as the best player to ever come through this program. All right, any more, y'all? Let's see. Justin Franks, have you been to Omaha? Thoughts on Penelope lineup of bourbon? I think Penelope does a really good job. And yes, I went to Omaha in 2000, was there the entire week, went to literally every game, not just LSU's games, went to every game of the entire World Series. Arguably the best week of my life. certainly on the short list of best weeks of my entire life. Randy Gross, Guidry was in the best groove yet. Tigers need to get back, taking a flat cut on the ball to put more hits up per game. Randy, brother, I mean, yesterday they scored 15 runs on 14 hits. No, they won 14 runs on 15 hits. I mean, brother, it's hard to complain about this offense. And I know there were people complaining at the end of the regular season, but I'm going to point this out again. The one game in Hoover they really felt like they had to win to leave no doubt was the South Carolina game. And they went and banged out 10 runs on 12 hits. Like, the next two games in Hoover, I know everyone complained about, the not hitting in the clutch or whatever, but like the last game, Tommy White didn't play. Joe Bear was at third. You had Paxton Kling in the outfield. You started Jared Jones in that game. Like, it wasn't your lineup. You can say all you want, or Jay can say all he wants that, they're playing every game to win every game, like it's you're all in to win every game like an elimination game, but it's just not true. If it was, you would have played Tommy White, you know what I mean, in Hoover, but you didn't need to. When they've needed to be great, they have been, which is pretty evident here, so. That's it. Brent Copeland, what's going on? Born and raised in California, went to LSU 85 to 88. Enjoyed being there. All right, Brent, thanks for being here, man. Blake Dean, that's another great example. Blake Dean left here as one of the greatest hitters ever to come through LSU. Won a national championship in 2009. Came back in 2010 to do more than play first and DH. They let him play the outfield and try to increase his draft stock. I think he was a 10th rounder, and Blake's told me this so many times. He just didn't love playing the pro game. He loved playing at LSU. He loved college baseball. That's why he's back in college baseball. Matt Dunn. Trey still doesn't get as much credit as he should. Matt, it's so interesting because, Trey is a guy, I was talking about this with Terrio yesterday. Trey's a guy, I think there's two things that went on with Trey late in the season. Trey is very flashy. The hair, remember he used to have the pocket flipped out till they started making him put it in. He does the weird flip out thing in the box when he takes a pitch. Like, Trey plays with a lot of flash and flair. So that's fine. It's not a criticism at all. It's just an observation that we'd all agree on. And Trey Morgan this year hit 300 again. I mean, since Trey Morgan stepped foot on campus, he has been a machine offensively and has been, both at first and in left, a magnificent defender. As a freshman, he hit 357. As a sophomore, he hit 324. This year, he's hitting 313. Right now, his career batting average is 332, and he's played 185 games. He's magnificent. He just happens to be on a team with Dylan Cruz and Tommy White and a whole bunch of dudes where he's just a little overshadowed. Paul Skeens, he's just not the guy we talk about the most. So I think that's part of it. The other part of it too is, man, I think, it's obviously his draft year, and you probably just looking at a guy that maybe was pressing a little bit a weekend ago, and today just this weekend against Kentucky got really aggressive, was hunting fastballs, and got back to doing the things that he did really well as an aggressive hitter. And he showed you power to all fields. He showed you could hit for average. It was 4 for 5 a night ago, and it was awesome, man. But I tend to agree with you, Matt, but I understand also why people are going to talk about Cruz and Skeens, because they're going to go 1-2 in the draft. And then there's Tommy White, Thibodeau, where's the post-game interviews? Can't find them on YouTube. They will be, by the way. Hat tip Alondra Villarreal, who covered this weekend at the box for us and last weekend as well. I know she's recording the interviews, and she will upload them to the 104.5 ESPN YouTube. So if you're not subscribed up to the 104.5 ESPN YouTube, we are going to start, in addition to our live shows, we are going to start having press conferences there as well. Baseball, football, basketball, press conferences in full will be there as well. So especially during this football season, when you want Brian Kelly's press conferences and all that sort of stuff during football, you'll be able to get them on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. We are typically, our approach has always been we have media partners that cover it, and then we'll strip the audio, but for radio purposes. But we are going to now start to have someone credentialed who goes to these press conferences and is covering all of them, getting the audio and video and posting them. DJ Pear, pulmonary was the ramp leading to this run. LSU and Jay are about to go on. Going to be a great few years. Jason Wyrick, thought a red up bracket will start Saturday. I haven't seen the dates posted. And my understanding is that generally waits to see what games go until the supers are finished in Omaha set. If we see the Miami Marlins jet at Baton Rouge, BTR we're rioting. That's a Saban Dolphins reference. I get it very well. Well done, well done. Yeah, so Noah June said the vast majority of great college baseball players never won a championship. That's true, Noah, but when you win 5 in 10 years, it's almost like Saban's Alabama teams, where everyone who goes and stays 4 years, you win a championship. And that's just the standard by which you're judged. I'm not saying it's fair, it's just the reality around this program. Todd Peterson. J.C. Holt's another one. J.C. Holt was an SEC Player of the Year. Jeremy Fontana, Earl Morgan. Do you think Hurd or Floyd will pitch the second game? Floyd. They'll go Skeens Floyd. I mean, that's their 1-2. I think the real question is what happens in game 3, and that answer depends on what you do in games 1 and 2. Again, you don't approach Omaha the same way you would a weekend series where you know you're guaranteed 3 games. You're not guaranteed 3 games in Omaha. You go lose your first 2, you're done, you're home. So you have to go win. Like, you have to treat, I'm preparing, I'm tilling the soil for this. You've got to prepare yourself for this understanding. When you go to Omaha, you have to treat every game like it's an elimination game. You have got to go, when they play game 1 against Tennessee or Southern Miss, Skeens is going to get the ball, and you hope they win 14-0, but you've got to play that game and handle pitching decisions to do everything you have to do to win that game that day. So I think the only givens are Skeens will start game 1, Floyd will start game 2. That's the only thing I think that's a given for LSU as far as how they're going to handle their pitching in Omaha. Please smash the like button if you would. We're over 500 likes at 565. I love it. Again, if you're new, please subscribe up to the channel. I'll remind you again about HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Thanks to everybody who's hanging out with us here tonight, fired up, 10:20 at night, smoking a stogie and getting ready for a week at work. But you know what, a great way to wrap up a weekend and start a week knowing the Tigers are heading back to Omaha. Jeff G. Matt, you need to credit you and T-Bob in creating Tiger fans. Your content, 104.5 and Whiskey and Wine, I'm all in. Thank you, Jeff G. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for being there. Bayou Bros, who remembers 97? I do. I can tell you the whole damn team. I mean, Danny Higgins was your DH and led off. You platooned behind the plate. Shout out Conan Horton, Clint Earnhardt, Furnace, Barbier, Larson McClure, Cedric, Wes, we called him Devil Boy. He had like a little goatee. Wes, oh shit, he wore number 20. Wes, oh, I gotta look it up now. Damn it. Someone's gonna post it, but I want to look it up. I'm sorry, Kerner was in center. Kerner started in center. Kerner started in center 96, 97. Cedric was center field on the national on 2000. Davis, Wes Davis. What a team. What a team. Boy, they were fun to watch. Coogan, Ainsworth, Demui. What a team. What a team. Anyway, shout out 97 national champs. Patrick Dinwiddie, Trey Morgan, Brother Martin, shout out. My dad went to Brother Martin, I mentioned that. As a Catholic high guy, great love for the Brothers of the Sacred Heart. My dad went to Brother Martin, had lived in New Orleans, stayed in New Orleans, where I was born, would have gone to Brother Martin, so shout out Crusaders. Damn, that's good, said he thinks Stravinsky's glove could hurt them in close games. Maybe. But Jay's made a decision. You're going with offense. And Stravinsky's going to be in the lineup, and I'm totally fine with that. And again, Stravinsky's going to be in the lineup no matter what. Literally the only question Jay Johnson has the only decision to make, and it's made. Like, this isn't, I don't think that, if there was a game to play Milazzo, it would have been against Kentucky, because they run, they bunt, and they run, they play small ball, so you have a better defensive catcher to control the running game and manage your staff. And they went with Stravinsky, which I totally get it, but the only change you could make is catch Milazzo, DH Stravinsky, which means Beloso goes to first, Morgan goes to left, and then either Pearson or Jobert sits, and likely Pearson sits. Well, they want Pearson in the lineup in the 9-hole, and I'm totally good with that, which means Stravinsky's got to catch. So you just got to get the best you can out of Hayden defensively. D. Matt, you're a grammar guy in baseball. Why do we say RBIs instead of RSBI? Or just RBI? Because you don't need to pluralize the R. You just say RBI, runs batted in, which is the stat. RBI is plural. You don't need to say RBIs. That would be the grammatically correct way to say it, is RBI. He had 150 RBI would be the way to do it. And that's what I do. Okay, a couple more. Reaper 08, is there a better team than LSU? The only one that could really make a claim for it would be Wake Forest. I think we're going to see that game in Omaha. Let's see. Seth Rushing, where's the Bud Light? Just drinking water tonight, Seth. Just water. I'll have Bud Light on my desk, though, tomorrow for AFR. Official beer of AFR. Lindsey Rains. Not official. Warren Nolan has LSU slotted Friday at 6. I would love that. After my show Friday becomes a de facto pregame show. Thomas Bushard, Connor Griffin's the next stud. And I'm going to tell y'all, and I know everybody's going to push back on this. We had Connor on the show. For those that don't know, Connor Griffin's a kid out of Mississippi who reclassified. He's committed to LSU. I had a scout tell me he is Bryce Harper. Like, he's that prospect. You know, the one that comes along every 10, 15 years. And so the assumption is he's not coming to school. And I'm here to tell you, in an NIL landscape and what that kid wants, don't be surprised if it's a Dylan Cruz situation. I get it. You got a long way to go before you push that across the finish line, and ultimately someone is going to put a 7-figure offer in front of that kid. But we saw Dylan Cruz show up. We saw Alex Bregman show up. You see that, and it could happen with Connor Griffin. Long way to go before we have that conversation, but don't be stunned if it happens. All right. I can tell you the whole damn team. Good, man. Shit, man. 97 national championship game against Alabama. Danny Higgins led off with a home run to right field. 13-6 was your final. Coogan pitched into the fifth and needed to finish the fifth to get the win. Allowed a couple of guys to get on base, and Skipper pulled him and put in Doug Thompson, who finished it. Doug ended up getting the win. Had Coogan finished the game, or had Coogan finished the fifth, he would have been the pitcher of record, would have won it, and been the only pitcher in the history of the College World Series to win 2 championship games, because Coogan was the winning pitcher in relief of Kevin Shipp in the 96 championship game. All right. Reed rule, Floyd's lease has to be super short, I'd imagine. Maybe, but again, it depends how the game's going. All right, a couple more. I'm going to shut this thing down. Still got 625 of y'all watching, man. That's awesome. By the way, we're at 586 likes. Let's get over 600. I need 14 more likes. So if you're watching on mobile, just X out of the chat. Don't X out of the whole video. Just X out of the chat, and you'll see a little thing that comes up. Hit the thumbs up, then just hit live chat again. The comments will come right back. Yeah, so Connor Griffin reclassified. So he's entering his junior year of high school. So he's still got another season before he comes. All right, Ronnie Dugas, good to see you, bro. Brandon Petrie, Scott Pittman, shout out. Jason Babin. Hard to believe it's been 2017 since LSU's been Omaha. Went to every game in 97 CWS. Gulf South Cruz was recruiting for us tonight, saying coming to LSU is the best decision he ever made. Hey, look, Skeen said something similar yesterday, in the post game yesterday. I mean, clip those things, post them everywhere. It matters. All right, y'all, I think we're done. Coach Juan, I love the outside sounds. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it, but we got so there's a water feature on the pool right there. So it's like a little waterfall right there, a little water blade. We got a fountain. You can see the fountain back there. Can y'all see the little light through the trees back here? I'm sorry, right. There's a comment right there. It's through this tree. There's a little light. That's a fountain in the water back there. And then of course you got the frogs. So that's all the ambient outside noise that you're hearing here at Casa de Scone. Let's see. I don't think anyone's concerned. LSU only needed 5 pitchers to win a super. Just 2 short years ago, we were tracking LSU's jet as it mysteriously flew to Omaha. How far we've come. Matt Lusto, concerned Hurd didn't get action this weekend. None whatsoever. He'll probably this week just do like a bullpen against live hitters to get work, but on his bullpen day, but literally no concern at all. Did LSU break the single season record for strikeouts? Wes Johnson definitely patted his job. Right. They did. The pitching staff did break the school record for strikeouts in the year. Now, a giant part of that, of course, is Paul Skeens pushing up to 200, but yes. All right, y'all, I think we're done. Jeff G is Beloso a next level guy. No, this is going to be it for Cade. Well, let me rephrase that. Someone will give Cade Beloso a chance to go play, whether it's in somebody's farm system or indie ball or something like that. I just don't know if he wants to, right? At this point in his career, coming off the injury, he's about to get married, great family, and may just want to start his professional life. Maybe you go give baseball a go and see what happens. I don't know. I don't know that definitively, but my assumption is, Cade's not get. If you were still talking about a 40-round draft, someone would call his name. Since they've shortened the draft, probably not going to get drafted. But he's awesome. Dustin Aber, Guidry has to be the closer. He's earned it. You're thinking of it the wrong way, Dustin. Sure, if that situation arises, but more so you have to think of it in terms of situational. I mean, you saw it today. Riley Cooper isn't the best arm LSU has in the bullpen. Not by a mile. But in a situation where you started a strong arm righty, Jay wanted to counteract with a swooping lefty to change those hitters' discipline, and he ate up 3 innings, and Jay trusted him. So it's going to be situational for sure. Meaning, I don't know that you don't go to Guidry if you're not in a safe situation, right? Shane Carver, who would our top arms be next year? Well, one you got to watch is going to be, what does Grant Taylor do? Y'all, I don't know if y'all have heard me say this, but legitimately, I had scouts tell me that went and watched fall ball that Grant Taylor in the fall was as good as Paul Skeens. Now, Skeens obviously continued developing and had the best season ever, but in the fall, when Skeens had just gotten here, Taylor was as good as Skeens in the fall, okay? So Taylor's a draft-eligible sophomore, and he could absolutely choose to sign if a team drafts him high and he decides he wants to take the money and go. He could come back, pitch his junior year, be part of the rotation, show he's able to throw against the SEC, and then go from maybe like a top 100 guy to a first-round pick. So that's one to watch. Chase Shore's coming off of Tommy John. And then Thatcher Hurd. I know it's an option. Thatcher Hurd. Thatcher Hurd will be in your rotation as well next year. He's a sophomore, so he'll be a junior next year. So, I mean, but then, you're also going to have guys you didn't even get to see this year. Jaden Newt, Aiden Moffitt, dudes who are part of the #1 class in the country that didn't get on the field this year. Some due to injury, some due to situation and growth and development and all. But you're not short for arms next year. Riley Cooper can come back. Riley Cooper can pitch another year if he wants to, and I suspect he will. But Triple D said it's going to look entirely different. But I heard Travinsky's leaning to come back. He can come back for a 5th season. I heard he's leaning to coming back. You're going to have Brady Neal back off of injury. Kling will be probably your starting center fielder next year. Pearson back next year. Tommy White's back next year. So you're going to have a lot of these guys back again. And some of the guys that didn't play this year, you're probably going to see hit the transfer portal. I'll tell you some of those conversations I know have already been had. Guys that are going to hit the portal, and some of those are probably pretty obvious. But something to file away. All right. Cortland, is Coleman on the shelf or too far down? Yeah, no, I don't think he's on the shelf. He was warming in the regionals. He was warming up in the bullpen in the regional final. So again, it's a situation where you're not thinking starter 1, 2, 3. It's who can go get me outs right now. So no, I think Coleman will pitch in Omaha. Bob Simo, been a while, Matt. Enjoy the chat. And a cigar with Sazerac Rye. Perfect. Love it. Stephen Foyle Stadium was at full throat. Love to hear that. Yeah, Gulf South asked about Edwards. That's another one. Edwards is another guy who probably, I was told, probably signs because he had Tommy John so far into the season that he's probably not going to be available to pitch next year. If he is available to pitch for LSU next year, it's probably not until postseason. So Edwards is probably a guy that signs and continues his rehab in a farm system somewhere. Drew Alvarez, you think Tommy White has a chance at the SEC Triple Crown next year? Yeah, absolutely. Jack Haglione may have something to say about that, but yeah. I said, try Redemption Rye for half the price. That's not half the price of Sazerac. Sazerac Rye is, you can get Sazerac Rye at Rouse's for $19. Redemption Rye is not half the price of Sazerac Rye. Jared Jones, thank you, of course. Jones could absolutely play first base. Ethan Fry's another guy who came in as a catcher who could also play outfield. So, yeah. Damon Gilmore asked about Stevenson. Stevenson's one of the guys that I think is gone. Yes, I think Josh Stevenson will not be back next year. What was Neal's injury? Yeah, man, I heard it was like a leg thing, a lower leg, like foot, or I don't know exactly what it was, like a foot, ankle, something like that. Oh, Dustin said, so Sazerac's not even... So what the funny thing about Sazerac is I know people that live in Miami, and Sazerac Rye is a top shelf spirit in Miami, which is so weird because you can get it here for $19. This has been fun, y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging out, man. I'm serious. Still 552 of y'all hanging out, man. Shoot. I'm sitting out here. I'm going to finish this and watching this game, and if y'all are out of questions and comments, we'll shut it down. But I'm just going to enjoy watching LSU, soaking in LSU going back to Omaha, and what a great night it was listening to the Frogs. Thomas, who did you say with the post-game interview? Alondra? Alondra Villarreal is on our staff at 104.5 ESPN and is doing awesome. And she was covering the regional last weekend, super regional this weekend for us. So she's at the presser getting all the post-game press conference. She's going to record the video and put it up on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube. Eugene celebrating the return to Omaha and Las Vegas. Shots on me. Big Doug 44 might be a dumb question. Any chance Trey comes back? Zero chance. And he asked about NIL money, but what you will see with NIL money is the opportunity to get players on campus and to lure transfers. Guys Trey Morgan is going to be a top 100 pick. Trey Morgan, Jordan Thompson, Grant Taylor, like those guys, should they choose, like if they decided to, like those are going to be top 100 picks. So they're gone. So no, Trey won't be back. Is Kling a center fielder? Yes. I think Kling is your starting center fielder next year. I think Gavin Guidry is starting shortstop next year. So some of those things will be changing. Josh Geraldo asked about Ty Floyd not coming back. Zero chance. He's a junior who throws 96, who developed a breaking ball this year. Ty Floyd's another guy that's a top 5 round guy, and he's 100% going to sign. Damon, did you see Gio's catch? I did with Duke. And good for him too, man, to go find a spot to go win and play a bunch and have a chance. Kirk, how does a team take a gamble on a guy that just had Tommy John? Because Tommy John isn't what it was. You see guys come back stronger from Tommy John. Like, you see some kids in high school have like elective Tommy John now to have it before they blow out. So it's not taking a gamble on a guy. If you put him through a medical, if the surgery was done well and recovery's going as it should, like guys come back from Tommy John a lot of times better than they were before. It's not really a gamble. Like the gamble is shoulder injuries, elbow injuries, Tommy John. That happens to basically everybody. Score of the game: Merrick 5-3. Stanford beating Texas, bottom 8, 1 out. Texas batting. Stanford is 5 outs away. Seth, do you enjoy LSU football or baseball more? I mean, football, don't we all? I mean, it's still a football town. But I love LSU baseball. I mean, it's just been LSU baseball has been such a core part of my life since I was a kid, man. I love it. I love college baseball. Like I'm the guy that'll sit here and watch Stanford in Texas, Kurt, what happened to the bottle of Sazerac on the AFR desk? So, Sazerac Rye is part of the, for those that don't know, the Sazerac company. I'll go even bigger picture. So, a guy named Bill Goldring owns the Sazerac company. And the Sazerac company is like the second or third biggest spirits company in the world, like right there with Diageo. And they have a gigantic portfolio. And they're based out of New Orleans. A lot of people don't know this. Bill Goldring is the richest guy in Louisiana. Nobody knows who he is. But Bill Goldring retired. He didn't really retire. Well, his son's taken over some of the operations. Long story short, the Sazerac Rye brand had brand managers in place for a long time who we dealt with. Well, when they had the changeover, they put new people in place based out of Kentucky, and the first thing the new brand manager did for Sazerac Rye was cut all spending. Like, so we never even had a chance to pitch or ask for a renewal or anything. They just cut literally everything. So I love Sazerac Rye. I love the company. I love the relationship with them. I still drink it all the time. But that's what happened. They had a changeover in their brand manager. And like when you're talking about companies that gigantic, there's just a lot of different red tape and stuff that goes along. Sean Bluen, so stoked about tonight. Can't believe they pitched to Cruz in that moment. I'm going to say it again, or you could have loaded the bases for Tommy White, which they did in the regular season matchup, and White hit a grand slam. So They did the opposite this time and still got burned. Damon Gilmore, don't know if you looked it up. Oh, Charles Oliveira got the TKO. David Nola 985 is Jared Jones at first or DH? Probably first. Out of Lake Charles here, been able to see some of the upcoming high school talent to LSU. Victorian in his 24 is impressive. Pearson's younger brother from the younger Pearson from West Monroe is the best one in the family, so they say. So yeah. Zionical, people forget Kling was the cruise of this class. So Paxton Kling next year is a draft eligible sophomore. And there's a lot of talk that Kling will be a first-round pick next year. His problem this year was just simply that once they got into conference play, he really struggled to hit SEC pitching. His strikeouts in conference play were basically like 1 every 2.5 at-bats. So you just couldn't justify having him in there. But you'd hope you get the same development out of Kling like you've got from a lot of guys as they just got older and more comfortable against SEC pitching. Sounds like Baton Rouge in June in the background of the stream. Stephen Foyle, any pitching coach news? I think Stephen, there we go. I think it's going to be Nate Yeske. Yeske was Jay Johnson's pitching coach at Arizona, who's the current pitching coach at Texas A&M. I think Robert Woodard from the head coach at Charlotte is another option. And the other the other name was Corey Mascara, who is the pitching coach at Wake Forest. But the word there is that he's the heir apparent to Tom Walter at Wake Forest and will become their head coach, and so probably stays put. So I think Nate Yeske is probably the guy, unless if there's a wild card. I've heard that Jay may look at dipping back into the professional ranks again like he did with Wes, so I wouldn't rule that out completely. But if I had to bet today, I'd probably say Nate Yeske from Texas A&M. Captain Eli, would you save Skeens to pitch against Wake? No. Skeens goes game 1. Gulf South, between you and me, when did you find out about Shores and Edwards' injuries? Ben McDonald was saying live during the game they both had Tommy John the week of the surgery. When it happened, I mean, Gulf South, you watch these streams enough. How many times did I tell y'all, like, Edwards and Shores are done for, like, you're not, people, go back and watch any of the streams. You're here all the time. How many times do people say, when is Shores and Edwards coming back? I'm like, yeah, you're not going to see them again this year. I mean, when it happened. I mean, the week it happened. Like, when it happened. For both of them. LSU fan 119, what's going on? Daniel Kirkmaz, what's up? Scott Simon. Yeah, man, Thompson with a big league play today. It was awesome. Bryce Boudreaux, what's going on? Haven't seen Matt this happy in a while. That's not true. I'm happy all the time, bro. The thing about baseball season that irks me sometimes is LSU fans, and I don't mean to just like be overly critical, come down on fans, but it's how do I say this without sounding douchey? It's fans that just don't watch a lot of baseball, and they take a football mentality into baseball. And LSU loses a midweek game and you melt, or LSU blows a save and you melt, or LSU strikes out with the bases loaded and you melt, and you make up these giant narratives like they can't hit in the clutch, or the bullpen stinks. Like, this is baseball. The 1927 Yankees are the best team ever. They lost 40 times. Everybody loses baseball games. Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer ever. He blew saves. Like, everybody loses games. Everybody blows saves. Everybody strikes out with the bases loaded. Like, it's baseball. It's why you play 56 regular season games. You take a large sample. You put yourself in position to be a national seed, so the road to Omaha goes through Baton Rouge, and then you hope you go play well for 10 days in Omaha. I mean, I've said that 10,000 times this year and every year. But the second something negative happens, LSU fans are a segment of the fan base, just immediately seeks me out and they shit on me. And I'm like, And that's why I want to go to Twitter right now and go call out every idiot who said this team isn't winning a regional, the bullpen sucks, they don't hit in the clutch, all the stupid things that people have convinced themselves are true about this team, when I've said all along they'll win a regional. Skeens will win game 1 of a super. You got to split the next 2. They should be an Omaha team, and then you hope you go there, win game 1 behind Skeens, and then if you win game 2, you're in the winner's bracket, and you certainly hope that you don't have someone come out of a loser's bracket and beat you twice. If you avoid that, you go to the championship series where Skeens pitches 1, and you got to split the other 2, and you win a national championship. I mean, that's the path. Now you got to go do it. You got to go execute. We'll see if they can, but I'm always happy. It's been a great season. It's been a lot of fun. Right. Rougarou, has anyone given props to Gidra? Yes, plenty. He was awesome tonight. He's been awesome all year. Kobe Walker, you going to Omaha? I am not. I might try to fly up there for the championship series if they make it, but just didn't make sense for work purposes. So the midday show is going to go. The Priest Holmes, what's up? A bot named Scooby Doo, what's going on? Where do you rate Jared Mitchell, all-time LSU outfielders? Well, Jared was awesome in 09. I'd have to give that some thought. I don't know that I would have him. I mean, I'd take Cruz. I'd take Matuk. I'd probably take La Mouton because of his power, even though Jay Mitch is probably a better defender. And again, maybe some of this is a little biased because I know how Jay Mitch's pro career turned out, and it look, so much of that was, a lot of people probably don't know this, but Mitchell was a minor league all-star, and then and was about to get a call up, had a season-ending injury. He just battled a lot of injuries, man. Destroy Carnage. Paul Skeens gave me a high five. I don't think I'm going to wash my hands. Yeah. Cloud Zach said, I sat next to Pearson's brother at a scrimmage. He looks like he's a no lineman. He's huge, yeah. Billy Mathern, any draft-eligible sophomores we may lose. Grant Taylor would be the one you got to sweat. Which returning pitcher has a chance to make a huge leap in the offseason? Try to give you a name you didn't see this year. I would tell you Aiden Moffitt. Aiden Moffitt's a big kid out of Mississippi. Looks like a defensive end, throws 100. I think Aiden Moffitt's probably the one that I would say. Kirk, happy to see Paul Maneri's last class get a shot. I agree. Patrick Dinwiddie hanging out in the Pacific Northwest. Sun is not set. It's 73 degrees. I'm jealous. It is hot and humid right now. I'm sweating my T. Heine off. Kobe, why did West leave? Yeah, I mean, he's going to be the head coach of Georgia. Gulf South, that's true. Telling us what's going on without telling us what's going on. Gulf South, I'll tell you this, man. I learned a long time ago in this job, how you handle sensitive information determines whether or not you continue to get sensitive information. And my thing is, I'm not a breaking news guy. I don't want to be a breaking news guy. There's no benefit. Unless if you are like Adam Schefter and that is your career, then it doesn't do me any good. It doesn't, no one remembers who breaks news, but if you fuck something up, they'll remember when you fuck something up, right? So, for me, it's more, I want to cultivate good sources of information, to feed me information, to help me cultivate my opinions around things. So, y'all are asking me about the pitching coach. Maybe it's not Nate Yeske. Jay could have something else going, but I would say right now the odds-on favorite is that it's Nate Yeske. Shores and Edwards injuries, like you talked about. Last year, Jaden Daniels starting quarterback. Who was the guy that from the onset kept telling y'all when everyone kept hyping Miles Brennan and Garrett Nussmeier, I kept telling you over and over and over again, Jaden Daniels is going to be the starting quarterback. I wasn't guessing. I wasn't guessing. So like, anyway. So yes, a lot of times I tell you things that I know. I just frame it as an opinion. But like to the point about the injuries, if Jay doesn't want it out there that he's got 2 players that had Tommy John or blew out, I'm not going to be the one. It doesn't do me any good to say that, but I could say, yeah, I don't think you're going to see those guys again this year. It looked bad, man. You saw like the arm hang. It's just, you frame it a certain way so it comes across like an opinion, but I just know the answer. All right. Aaron Glazer, what up? Gulf South, we have a kid who knows 100 sitting on the bench. Yeah, look him up. Aiden Moffitt. He's from Mississippi. His parents, like his mom is a high school principal. Like his parents are educators. Super smart kid. They wanted him to go to college. Like they valued education. So he throws like 98 to 100. Like he's upper 90s. And he's a big old. He looks like a defensive end. Look him up. You've seen him I guarantee you've seen him in the dugout. You just didn't know it was him. But yeah. Merrick Mathern, do any players follow west of Georgia? Maybe. But not ones that LSU would be counting on next year. Players that might get processed, for lack of a better word. Chico, kudos to you, Matt. Lucky to have you. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Very kind. Kobe, are you an LSU fan? Hell yeah, man. I'm an LSU grad. I love LSU. The tricky part is, for me, professionally, like, I tell students this all the time. The hardest part about this job is you do sacrifice some of your fandom, because if you're going to be in opinion media, you've got to do your best to be objective. So it's a weird line that you toe when, like, you cut me open, I bleed purple and gold. I want LSU to win in everything all the time. But when I'm on air, I have to give you an objective opinion. Like, if I think they're going to lose the game, I'm going to tell you that I think they're going to lose the game. It doesn't mean I hate LSU or I hate a coach or I hate a player. It's just, I'm giving you an honest opinion. And that's the reason why I believe why I've had success, because people know I'm never going to bullshit you. Like, if I tell you I think they're going to win, I believe it. If I tell you I think they're going to lose, I believe it. And I think y'all believe me that I'm being honest, because I'll tell you either way. But fuck yeah, I'm an LSU fan, man. Like, I'm just like all y'all. I mean, Saturdays we're getting in the car, going tailgating on the old front nine, going to Tiger Stadium. As a kid, I was in the box all the time. We moved to Baton Rouge from New Orleans in the summer of '89, and that was the Shaq, Chris Jackson, Stanley year. We got basketball season tickets. I mean, yeah, I love LSU. It's my alma mater. I went to school there. It's the best decision I ever made. I love LSU. Like, being a student and graduating from that university, one of my proudest things, and one of the things that I'm so proud to be an LSU alum. I mean, LSU did so much for me as a student. Being in the manship school there, and walking the halls, and all the experience many of y'all had. So anyway, or you poured up scone? Nah, man, just water and a cigar. Dustin, I wasn't drunk when it started, but I am now. Earl, yes, you're the one who predicted the success of Woodward. That one was not hard to predict, though. Aiden Moffitt, comp to Cam Sanders is interesting. Kobe, how often do you do a live stream? Literally every morning. I do a show called Morning Scone literally every single day. I think today was episode like 1954. So I've done it like 1,954 consecutive days. I've never missed a day. Generally on weekdays, it's 7:30 Central Time. So y'all hang out. So smash the like button, subscribe up to the channel. And of course, if you need a roof, holler at HUDCO. HUDCO's pinned in the chat. We'd love to help you out. Commercial, residential, anywhere in the state of Louisiana. You can email me directly, matt@hudcoroofing.com. Mark asked about Albert Bell. Yep. Different era. Career here got cut short because of his shenanigans. But yeah. Patrick Dinwiddie said, I don't know anyone who says LSU is going to win every game, so it's all good. Patrick, I know of one person who literally in 5 years never picked LSU on a Friday to lose a football game when we did picks. And y'all know who it is. He's a friend, but literally never picked LSU ever to lose a game. How pumped is Musso? Remember Ryan Bird getting the start in Omaha in 09? Yep. Matt, did you ever find out who jacked your Weller 12? No. Charles Pace, what's going on? Let's see, Gulf South. What year did AFR start NOLA? 2016. You took the time slot from Scott Alexander. I don't know. No, it was. They had so Gus Cattengill was on in the afternoon. When I went on in the afternoon, they moved GCat to the middays. What they did. Amanda Rome, any transfer portal candidates for next year? You got to wait till you start to see players hit the portal, and then you also have to wait to see who ultimately is drafted and signed. So we're not quite there yet for baseball. Okay, Kobe, how's the football team going to be? I would tell you I think they go 10-2, but I think they legitimately have a shot to win every game. Bayou Bros, love you, Matt. Told you Trey was meant for first, although he will play outfield in the pros as long as he's in that purple and gold. He's a first baseman, except for when he was in left field until they got Josh Pearson in the lineup. Like, this isn't hard. Like, it shouldn't surprise you. Like, let me put it to you this way. Bayou Bros. If you took Dylan Cruz out of center and put him at first, he's just as good at first as Trey Morgan. Trey's a super freakishly athletic guy who's playing first base, which is uncommon. And the reason you don't see super freakishly athletic guys playing first base is because any slug can stand on the base and catch the ball. You don't have to be a great glove. That's the point I've made for years. That's not saying, like, I love it when Trey makes a play and like, oh, as a first baseman, I'm like, of course he's a great first baseman. He's a great athlete, but he's also great in left field. How many times do we see him make diving catches at the line or running into the wall? Like, Trey's going to play left. He's going to be an outfielder at the next level. There is no professional team anywhere that's going to put that kid at first base. If playing him at first now gets Pearson in the lineup, which is what they want, great. Trey's great at first base. Fine, do it. But when Pearson couldn't hit and you had Jones in the lineup slugging 14 homers, Morgan was in left field because you needed Jones's bat in the lineup. Ooh, bases loaded for Stanford. Up 5-3. All right, we're almost done here. All right, last one. Cortland, Morgan's playing first because it's the best lineup. Right, because of Pearson, exactly. Okay. Spike Nolan, LSU winning the CWS plus 750 is looking good. If you can get plus 750 now, absolutely take that. All right, that's the last one. I'm going to go. Y'all have an awesome night. Ooh, base hit. That should do it. Top 9. 2 more score. 7-3. Stunford. They're going to force a game 3. All right. Y'all have an awesome, awesome, awesome night. Gulf South. Been listening for 7 years. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Go Tigers. Cheers. Thank y'all so much for watching. 674 likes. I love it. On your way out, please smash the like button. If you're new, please subscribe up to the channel. And we'll see y'all tomorrow for Morning Scone and for AFR. Go Tigers. Peace.